It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. As a chosen one, you've always sensed that your path defies normal explanations. Now you're noticing people falling back, panic looks on their faces, and even your own family turning the narrative upside down about who you are. They once claimed you were crazy or delusional, but suddenly everything predicted is happening, and they're scared. Before we continue, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment 77 to send a powerful signal to the universe. Replay this video as many times as you want. If you truly are one of the chosen, you'll watch it till the end. If not, it's likely you won't stay for these revelations. Chapter 1. The reality of your psychic sense. From a young age, you might have experienced vivid dreams that later unfolded in real life, or had unsettling gut feelings proven correct. People around you tried to explain these sensations away. Coincidence, guesswork, or mere luck. But as you matured, the patterns multiplied. You saw events before they happened, felt emotions in a room that no one spoke of, and could read undercurrents behind people's words. Deep inside, you recognized these abilities weren't random, but a gift. However, not everyone welcomed it. Some relatives, set in their conventional worldview, labeled you dramatic or too sensitive. Others feared your insights because they shattered the comfortable illusions they lived in. Over time, it became easier for them to say you were making things up than to confront that you might actually be psychic. Denial was their shield against a truth they weren't prepared to face. So they lied, twisted stories about you, and diminished your experiences to maintain their normalcy. Now, as current events align with your earlier warnings, they're confronted by proof that your so-called oddities were legitimate. It rattles them deeply. In a world that loves to rationalize everything, watching your predictions take form is both fascinating and unsettling. Those who once dismissed or ridiculed you now find themselves grappling with a new reality. The chosen one in their midst actually sees beyond the ordinary. This shift in perception causes them to fall back. They realize what you've been telling them wasn't wild fantasy. Instead, it's happening. Perhaps you predicted a family fallout, a global upheaval, or pointed out hidden truths that are now surfacing. Their fear arises because your accuracy forces them to question their assumptions. No one likes having their worldview upended, especially when it means admitting they were wrong about you. Fear, embarrassment, or plain shock can cause them to withdraw, uncertain how to handle the chosen one whose crazy talk now reigns true. Yet you're not here to say, "I told you so." You're not on a mission to gloat. Your predictive gifts weren't given to stroke your ego, but to guide and protect both yourself and those willing to heed your warnings. Even if people retreat from you, even if your family crafts stories to shield themselves from your authenticity, your path remains valid. You don't need external validation to confirm what your spirit has always known. At this point, acknowledging your psychic gifts and stepping fully into them is crucial. Stop shrinking to soothe the fears of others. What's happening now, the unveiling of your predictions, validates your intuitive power. Instead of feeling guilt or shame for seeing what others missed, treat your visions as part of your life's purpose. If your insights can help navigate crises or avert disasters, then it's your calling to speak up, whether or not people are initially receptive. In the end, a chosen one acts in alignment with a higher truth, regardless of who understands or approves. Chapter 2. Why friends and family lied about you. It's baffling to discover that those closest to you have been spreading misinformation, sometimes outright lies, about your gifts and your character. You might wonder, why would my own family or close friends do that? The answer often lies in their fear and misunderstanding of your abilities. People you meet every day, especially those with a narrow worldview, feel threatened by what they can't categorize or control. Faced with your uncanny predictions and insights, some choose to cast you as the problem rather than confront the deeper truths you reveal. For some, it's easier to label you unstable or overly imaginative than to accept the notion of a spiritual dimension they've never understood. They prefer to cling to familiar logic, even if it's incomplete, rather than venture into the realm of psychic awareness. By reducing you to a caricature, they maintain a semblance of control, reassuring themselves that you're just an odd outlier rather than a valid channel of higher knowledge. Family lies may also stem from embarrassment. They worry about social judgment. What will the neighbors, the church community, or extended relatives think if they admit you might be psychic? So they fabricate stories that align with typical narratives. You're rebellious, lazy, or delusional. These labels shield them from having to defend or explain you in circles they value. It's a defense mechanism that spares them the vulnerability of saying, yes, our child, sibling, family member sees things we don't. In other cases, jealousy plays a role. Certain relatives might sense you have a destiny bigger than the familial roles they accepted. They've lived in a comfort zone for so long that your evolution highlights their stagnation. Instead of being inspired, they react by undermining you. That's how envy operates. Distort the perspective of others so they doubt your authenticity and overlook your gifts. Your psychic gifts also reflect hidden truths in the family dynamic. Perhaps you predicted rifts or pointed out toxic behaviors no one wanted to discuss. These revelations can spark shame or anger, prompting them to paint you as a liar to deflect attention from their own issues. If they can discredit you, they can suppress the uncomfortable honesty you bring to light. Yet in the midst of these orchestrated falsehoods, you must remember that your identity stands on a firmer foundation than family opinion. You're not bound by their approval or condemnation. Their attempts to rewrite your narrative show that they realize something profound about you. If you were truly inconsequential, they wouldn't bother to spin tales. Ironically, their misinformation only accentuates the power they sense in you. So what do? Acknowledge their fears, but don't let them define you. Speak your truth calmly if needed, but avoid getting tangled in relentless battles for recognition. This period of your life is teaching you discernment. Who genuinely supports you, who is open to learning, and who chooses ignorance. In time, some might step forward, admitting they were wrong. Others may cling to their stories. Either way, your evolution remains yours alone. You owe it to yourself to uphold your spiritual integrity, with or without their approval. Chapter 3. People backing off. They sense your power. As your predictions come true and your authenticity shines through, you'll notice a curious phenomenon. Certain individuals who once tried to dominate or dismiss you suddenly fall back. They may not offer formal apologies, but their behavior shifts. Conversations become shorter, social invites fewer, or they might avoid your direct gaze. This retreat can feel baffling, especially if you once craved their validation. However, it's actually a silent admission of your impact, a confirmation that your energy intimidates them. People you meet every day often fear what they cannot label or outsmart. They see that you consistently call it before events unfold, leaving no room for them to claim you're just lucky. Realizing you carry a spiritual authority beyond ordinary logic, they withdraw, anxious to avoid confrontation with the truths you reveal. Some sense you can read their hidden motives or detect their unspoken insecurities. Rather than risk exposure, they keep their distance. This distance highlights that your power, rooted in honesty and psychic clarity, unsettles them. They prefer illusions or manipulations that worked on lesser defenses. With you, illusions crumble quickly. It's not about you being mean or arrogant. Your mere presence disrupts their facades. Observing people back away can be a bittersweet moment. On one hand, it's validating to see your truth recognized. On the other, it underscores a quiet loneliness as you realize they're not prepared to stand in the same light. Simultaneously, expect others to watch from the sidelines and retreat. They might not retreat but remain cautious, uncertain whether to approach or flee. These onlookers are potential allies, curious about your gifts yet unsure how to engage. Their respect for your new boundaries suggests they might be open to deeper connections once they see you're not out to shame or dominate them. In this sense, people falling back also weeds out shallow ties, paving the way for more genuine bonds. Emotionally, this shift can be jarring. You might recall times when you felt dependent on their approval. Now, ironically, you may sense liberation. Freed from pleasing them, you have room to invest energy in pursuits that nourish your spirit. The space they leave can be filled with new opportunities, supportive networks, or even solitary reflection that further refines your spiritual awareness. The withdrawal becomes a protective shield, letting you flourish without interference. Let them fall back. No need to chase, no reason to explain yourself repeatedly. In this vacuum, you find clarity, focusing on tasks and relationships that resonate with your elevated vibration. Meanwhile, onlookers who sense your sincerity will draw closer. They may inquire respectfully about your visions or predictions. These dialogues can affirm your path and even lead to unexpected collaborations. If someone is meant to rejoin your circle, they'll return in their own time, with more respect for who you've become. In essence, the retreat underscores the unstoppable aura you project. Now, despite initial hurt or confusion, you'll find it a blessing. The path of a chosen one can be lonely, yet it's also pure, filled with only those who can handle authenticity and growth. So stand tall, letting those who can't handle your power move aside. The synergy you create with those who remain will outshine any fleeting sense of loss. Chapter 4. Owning the fact that your predictions are real up until now. You may have downplayed your psychic nudges or intuitive dreams, especially if people labeled them coincidences or lucky guesses. Now, with events unfolding precisely as you foresaw, the evidence grows too strong to ignore. This is the turning point. You must own the fact that your predictions are real. Doing so might stir disbelief or even intimidation, but as a chosen one, hiding your gifts no longer serves you or anyone else. Owning your ability doesn't mean boasting or sensationalizing it. It means acknowledging these gifts come from a higher source that flows through you. Think of it like a tap that channels water from a vast reservoir. The water is not yours to hoard. It's meant to refresh and guide. Similarly, your predictive sense can help people prepare or pivot when danger or opportunity looms. Denying it risks letting crucial moments pass unremarked. People you meet every day might roll their eyes if you mention your visions, yet they secretly watch to see if your next statement aligns with unfolding reality. The more your insights check out, the more they can't discount them. You may notice some become borderline obsessed with your words, searching for hidden meaning or prophecy in everything you say. This can be stressful, so create balance. Let them understand you're not a 24/7 fortune teller. You're a spiritual channel with a mission, not a novelty act. Owning your predictive power also means setting ethical boundaries. Sharing a prophecy or warning must be done with sensitivity. Not everyone is ready to hear harsh truths about future developments. Discern who can handle the information and how you deliver it. There's a difference between a gentle alert that fosters constructive change and a doomsday proclamation that feeds panic. Your role is to guide, not overwhelm. Additionally, accept that some will test you, hoping to see you fail. They'll throw random questions or contrived scenarios at you. Resist letting pride lure you into turning your gift into a performance. Only speak when the intuition is genuine, not from a need to prove yourself. The moment you chase validation, you risk forcing your visions, muddying the clarity that's integral to real spiritual insight. By staying humble, you preserve the purity of your channel. Your honesty about your gift fosters personal freedom. You no longer tiptoe around skeptics or hide your spiritual practices. Clarity grows in your environment. Those who can't handle your psychic dimension naturally drift away, while seekers find you more approachable. As you relax into your gifts, you sharpen your ability further. Confidence is the missing ingredient that transforms sporadic glimpses into consistent, reliable guidance. In short, stepping into your power requires you to announce, at least to yourself, that what you're experiencing is no mere coincidence. Every time you had a hunch or saw glimpses of the future, it was genuine. Embrace it as part of your identity as a chosen one. Doing so not only validates your experiences, but also places you in a position to use those gifts responsibly, turning your insight into a force for positive transformation in your circle and beyond. Chapter 5. Why They're Scared. Your exposed accuracy. Once you start owning your psychic insights, the ripple effect intensifies. For those who previously denied or ridiculed your gift, fear becomes tangible. Why? Because your accuracy exposes their illusions. If they once told others, "He's making it up," "She's just paranoid," or "It's all nonsense," now they face the unsettling fact that you were right all along. Everything you predicted is taking shape, shredding their dismissive narratives. That harsh glare of truth forces them to question more than just your gift. It compels them to re-examine their entire framework of reality. Fear manifests differently for each person. Some recoil from you, suspecting you can see through their facades. Others erupt in anger, deflecting blame rather than acknowledging they misjudged you. Yet this fear isn't about you personally. It's about them confronting a reality they never believed existed or refused to accept. Your psychic ability challenges their comforting illusions that the world is fully explainable by standard logic. People you meet every day who have secrets might panic the most, dreading that you could uncover details they'd rather keep hidden. They interpret your predictive sense as a power to unmask them. Understandably, they might keep their distance, not wanting to be seen. But your role isn't to invade privacy. You simply pick up on energies or patterns. Fear distorts their perspective, making them think you're a threat to their carefully curated image. Moreover, your accuracy disrupts social hierarchies. If certain individuals lorded their expertise or experience over you, believing they had the final word, your proven insights topple that arrogance. Suddenly, they're no longer the authority. They're confronted by someone they once belittled, now validated by unfolding events. Such a reversal can be bruising for egos locked into control dynamics. In the swirl of these reactions, remember not to internalize their fear. Their discomfort doesn't invalidate you. It confirms the potency of your gift. Resist becoming defensive or antagonistic. Compassion often diffuses tension. Some who fear you might eventually approach with curiosity, wanting guidance. Be discerning. You can help without enabling or letting them exploit your gift as a novelty. Your newly established no-nonsense stance also intensifies their anxiety. You're no longer placating them or downplaying your capabilities. You've drawn a line, and they see it. Stand strong. This confidence rattles those accustomed to undermining you. Deep inside, they realize they can't surpass your authenticity, so they either watch from afar or muster empty attempts to discredit you. Neither approach neutralizes your elevated position. While their fear might be uncomfortable, it also indicates you're truly stepping into your role. The chosen one's mission has never been to appease others. If your revelations alarm, it means you're shaking stagnant beliefs, prompting evolution. Over time, some will realize you're not out to humiliate them, but to illuminate truths for collective growth. Whether they come around or cling to ignorance, your path remains unwavering, fueled by the knowledge that your gift, once ridiculed, is forging hope and direction in an uncertain world. Chapter 6. Reclaiming your power amid their backlash. In the wake of your revelations, the backlash can feel intense. Some might downplay your gift once again, saying your correct predictions were lucky flukes or that anyone could have guessed that. Others might lash out, calling you arrogant or accusing you of meddling in things that should remain unspoken. The noise can be overwhelming if you've not yet stabilized in your renewed sense of self. However, this turbulence also offers an opportunity to reclaim your power. Having realized your predictions are no mere flukes, you see through the defense mechanisms fueling these attacks. The negativity isn't because you're wrong, it's because you're correct, and that correctness upends their comfort zones. Understanding this frees you from taking their words personally. You can view the hostility as evidence of how drastically your insight challenges their status quo. People you meet every day may urge you to stay humble, misconstruing your confidence for conceit. Yet humility isn't about feigning smallness. It's about recognizing your gift as a conduit for higher truths. There's no shame in standing tall if your gift helps illuminate issues or guide solutions. Real humility also involves being teachable. As your power grows, remain open to feedback from wise mentors or close spiritually attuned friends. That ensures you don't slip into the trap of pride. Proclaiming your power also means clarifying boundaries. Perhaps old acquaintances assume they can treat you as they did before, trivializing your visions or coaxing you into endless free readings. If their approach disrespects your time or your calling, you're allowed to say no. Setting boundaries can cause friction, but you learn from your old self that placating people who undervalue you leads nowhere. By holding firm, you attract collaborators who truly appreciate your gifts. Additionally, reclaiming power involves stepping into new leadership roles. With your expanded visibility, individuals hungering for guidance may approach. You can now direct them, not from a sense of superiority, but from empathy. You remember the confusion you faced when your abilities were raw and unacknowledged. That memory spurs you to guide novices kindly, explaining the path with compassion while retaining your self-respect. Meanwhile, not everyone you guide will reciprocate gratitude. Some might abandon you once they get what they came for, or even blame you if they misinterpret your advice. That's the risk of playing a leading role in spiritual matters. Still, your motivation isn't applause. It's fulfilling the purpose that infuses your spirit. Each time you assist another soul in awakening or navigating life, your own light strengthens. The backlash, ironically, tests whether you can remain centered under pressure. If you do, you prove to yourself and the universe that your gift isn't flimsy or accidental. You show that you won't be intimidated or chased into silence. This unwavering stance cements the sincerity of your mission, broadcasting to all energies around you that you're here to serve a greater plan, unaffected by small talk or aggression. Standing firm amid their hostility is precisely how you reclaim the power that was always your birthright as a chosen one. Chapter 7. Stepping into a future without limitations. With illusions shattered, family lies exposed, people falling back in awe or fear, and your predictions manifesting vividly, you find yourself poised to enter a realm where limitations no longer hold sway. The old you, defined by people-pleasing or second-guessing your insights, is gone. In this new paradigm, you trust your connection to the unseen. You realize your visions aren't accidents, and you're ready to operate at full capacity. Stepping into a future without limitations involves broadening your perspective. If you once shrank from big ideas or major undertakings, now you approach them with excitement. The question isn't can I, but how will I? This shift in mindset lets you aim higher. Whether you dream of launching a groundbreaking initiative, traveling to expand your perspective, or healing collective wounds through your psychic gifts, you see no inherent ceiling. While caution remains a tool, fear doesn't dominate your decisions. People you meet every day confined by old constructs watch with intrigue. Some will envy your self-assuredness, interpreting it as innate privilege. But you know you've walked through darkness, shed tears of confusion, and navigated betrayal or ridicule to stand here. That perseverance is what sets you apart. Your confidence is hard-earned, shaped by challenges that turned you into the resilient, visionary soul you are today. As you navigate this new horizon, keep a childlike sense of wonder. Even with heightened spiritual awareness, remain curious about what more you can learn. Each day can bring fresh revelations if you're open. Explore advanced spiritual teachings, refine your intuitive techniques, or even consider mentorship roles that pass the baton of knowledge to those awakening behind you. The chosen path is cyclical. There's always room for growth, always, space for deeper understanding. However, moving beyond limitations isn't about flouting caution recklessly. Discernment remains crucial. Not every invitation or partnership that flatters your gifts is beneficial. Some might aim to exploit your abilities for profit or personal gain. By maintaining your spiritual discipline, prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, you can gauge what truly resonates with your soul's mission. The difference between opportunity and distraction often lies in subtle energy signals that you, as a chosen one, can detect. No matter how expansive your future looks, anchor in gratitude. Celebrating each milestone keeps entitlement at bay. You recognize that this freedom from limitations is the fruit of divine guidance and your unwavering resilience. When you say thank you to the cosmos, you maintain harmony with the sacred energy that's been fueling your ascent. It's a reciprocal flow. The more appreciation you offer, the more blessings find their way back to you. Thus, stepping into a future without limitations means you walk forward with open arms, unafraid of the unknown. You trust your psychic senses and the higher intelligence that orchestrates your path. Where others cling to smallness, you breathe in vast possibility, forging alliances, crafting solutions, and shining as a beacon of expanded potential. This is the culminating phase of your metamorphosis, a final reminder that the universe is not only vast, but also lovingly responsive to those who dare to believe in their own boundless capacity.